Welcome to StopFake, the place where we set the record straight on disinformation about Ukraine. I'm Irena Chalupa with this week's dissection of Russian alternate reality. This week's disinformation menu brings you the following. Putin's fake largesse helps Ukrainians fight the cold. Seat covers to save Ukraine's weak economy, and Russia sanctions. Success or a failure? That's a lot of disinformation, so let's get to the details. On November 12th, Russian media reported that Russian President Vladimir Putin responded to requests from Ukrainians and ordered gas to be shipped from Crimea to Henichesk, a city in southern Ukraine. Russian sites featured a video of Sergei Aksyonov, Russia's Prime Minister of Crimea, personally asking the Russian president to respond to a humanitarian catastrophe where people were freezing and pleading for help. Putin, of course, agreed, and Russian media immediately declared the gas shipments to Ukraine from Crimea began on November 12th, except that they didn't. Henichesk Regional Administration Chairman Alexander Vorobyov dismissed Putin's so-called help as a complete fake. The city is not receiving any gas from Crimea, he said, and pointed out that Crimea has no gas of its own to share with the mainland. Ukraine's energy ministry is addressing the city's gas supply problems, and plans for a relay station to pump more gas into the city are underway. Currently, the city has 70% of required gas for the winter season. Russian media circulated a similar fake story in the beginning of 2016, alleging that Henichesk Mayor Alexander Tulupov called Putin personally, and the Russian president, out of the goodness of his heart, without any documentation or contract, dispatched gas to the freezing town. The story was completely false. Mayor Tulupov said he never called Putin, and of course, the town never asked Russia for any help. Russia's defense ministry television channel Zvezda published a story this week claiming that Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko announced that he would revive Ukraine's nearly bankrupt economy with the help of car seat covers. This fake story revolved around Poroshenko's visit to Western Ukraine for the opening of a new car seat manufacturing plant. Zvezda claims that Poroshenko not only announced that car seat covers could save the Ukrainian economy, but also declared that the lion's share of German cars are made in Ukraine. Once again, these claims are false and completely twisted out of context. While opening a second German car seat manufacturing plant in Ukraine, President Poroshenko spoke about reviving Ukraine's economy through investment and job creation, and pointed out that BMW and Volkswagen components are manufactured in Ukraine. He never claimed these vehicles are made in the country. According to Ukraine's Automotive Industry Employers Federation, several car companies have opened plants in Ukraine, among them the Japanese automotive components company Fujikura and the German automotive cable supplier Leoni. German car leather manufacturer Bader has been operating in Ukraine since 2006. This company provides more than 2,000 manufacturing jobs. A new plant, which produces leather interiors and car seats for Audi and BMW, opened in November in the Lviv region. The Russian website Ukraina.ru declared this week that the White House announced its sanctions policy against Russia to be a failure. This site quotes White House spokesman Josh Earnest out of context and creates the impression that the U.S. is admitting defeat in its sanctions policy. During an October 6th briefing, Josh Earnest explains that while the sanctions have not forced Russia to respect Ukraine's territorial integrity and sovereignty, they are having an impact.
The situation in Ukraine is obviously the best example where the United States has been able to work effectively with our European allies to impose tough sanctions against Russia. Of course, I would be among the first to point out that the sanctions that we have imposed on Russia in concert with our European allies as a result of Russia's actions in Ukraine have not yet achieved the desired result. We haven't seen the change in strategy on the part of the Russians that we'd like to see in Ukraine. We haven't seen them indicate their clear respect for the territorial integrity and sovereignty of Ukraine. But we do know that those sanctions have had an impact on Russia's economy. Russia is paying the price for their actions inside of Ukraine, and that price is one that they have to pay because of the ability of the United States to work effectively with our European partners to impose those costs.
Ernest reiterated this U.S. position at a later October 21st briefing, during which he said that financial sanctions are most effective when implemented in careful coordination with American allies and partners around the world. The U.S. has not declared its sanctions policy against Russia a failure, and there are no plans to suspend it. That's it for this week. Our video digest presents only a few of the fakes we debunk every week. Look for more disinformation set straight on the StopFake website. Be vigilant, look out for fakes, and if you spot anything that smacks of disinformation about Ukraine, send it to us for our truth autopsy. I'm Irena Chalupa, and this is StopFake. Thanks for watching.